Well, Peter Mathews is a professor of political science at Cypress College. He joins us from Los Angeles. Thank you very much indeed for your time. The situation with the Republican competition for the White House, or the White House nomination for candidacy, still confuses me because it's all about the numbers. Can you just give us some context and explain to me why Donald Trump isn't just getting a clear run at the nomination now?
Because almost every state has different ways of selecting delegates, and Pennsylvania was the most unique of all. Out of the close to, well, let's say 54 delegates out of the full Pennsylvania list are selected as independents. They can go to the convention and vote for anyone they want, even though Donald Trump won by a large margin, double digits, the popular vote. He only won 17 delegates that are pledged to him from Pennsylvania. And that's the reason, because every state has a different rule of how to select delegates, and Pennsylvania was the least binding in a sense. And yet Trump is doing very well, actually. He's up to about 950 delegates. About 950 delegates. He only needs 1,237 to win outright, and he's on his way, because he won all 5 states by a double-digit margin. He picked up delegates in other states as well, those 4 states other than Pennsylvania.
So, of course,
I would say he did very well tonight.
I apologize for interrupting you. I'm sorry. We've been reporting on the fact, obviously, that Ted Cruz and John Kasich are combining in an effort to try and derail his campaign. Is that going to work, do you think?
Yes. I don't think it's going to work, although they're trying hard. In fact, the deal was that Kasich and Cruz would get together, so they'd allow, for example, Kasich would allow Cruz to be able to campaign fully without his interference in Indiana. In exchange, Cruz would allow Kasich to campaign in Oregon and New Mexico without any interference from the other side. So that's just kind of it's a very passive pact. They're not going to actively go out and say vote for the other guy, and it's going to be a little too late, I'm sure, because Trump is on a roll right now, and if he keeps going, in fact, you know, the national numbers he's skyrocketed from 40% support in the Republican Party. He climbed up in a couple of weeks to 50%. He's just about 50% support in the Republican side now, which means he has a much better chance now of winning the full delegate count when he goes to the convention. There's always the outside chance that he might fall short.
We're just hearing that Hillary Clinton has just won Connecticut, so that gives her Maryland, Connecticut, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. Where does that leave Bernie Sanders in all of this?
Well, interesting enough, Hillary won 4 out of 5 states tonight, and it was the states where it was closed primaries, where only Democrats could vote for Democrats. In the one state was an open primary where independents could vote for Bernie, for example. He won very large in Rhode Island. And that's the secret here of the two sides. Hillary wins very well with Democrats. Bernie wins some Democrats and does very, very well with independents. And that would be a strong point for Bernie in the fall. But right now, Hillary's winning the Democratic vote and winning the states. And that really puts her on the path toward garnering the full amount. But again, there's a mathematical chance she could fall short if Bernie surges and the other states coming up, including California, because California has the largest number of delegates, 475 pledged delegates that Bernie could go for. But it's also a different kind of primary where each congressional district determines who will get the 5 or 6 delegates from each district. It's not a statewide proportional representation. So every state here in the United States has such different rules, and that can be very confusing. But Hillary's on her way. I would say Bernie's not completely out yet, but he's got to start winning and winning with larger margins. I would also say that it has to do with the independent vote. Whenever he gets independent votes to be able to vote for him, as in California, he does much, much better. And other states like New Jersey coming up as well, where he could do well. So it all depends how that goes. But in the end, it's all about the message of money in politics, and Bernie has that message, and Hillary's going to have to be able to capture that message if she wins the nomination. She has to prove to people that she's not bought by the wealthy special interests on Wall Street. She took a lot of money from them. And to bring aboard the Bernie supporters who don't believe in dollar democracy. They believe in true democracy where people can vote and the money doesn't control everything. So there's a diehard group of Bernie supporters. About 1/3 of his supporters may not vote for Hillary in the fall, and she's got a lot of work to do. Bernie himself said, for her to garner support from his people and from him, she has to come out and make her platform much more progressive. And that's going to be a challenge for her.
Well, the process may well be confusing, but it certainly makes it very interesting. Peter Mathews, Professor of Political Science at Cypress College, thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure. Thank you.